The rise of the Jekker. In the cold expanse of space, the Jekker Empire stood as a colossal force of domination and control. Their fleets were vast, their technology advanced, and their resolve unyielding. The Empire's iron grip extended across countless worlds, subjugating civilizations with an efficiency that left little room for resistance. Yet there was one species that had become an anomaly in their plans: humanity. It began with a strategic raid on a remote human outpost. Trixthak, a ruthless commander of the Jekker fleet, had anticipated an easy conquest. His reptilian eyes gleamed with a mixture of contempt and amusement as he watched from the bridge of his flagship, the Gruer. The humans, primitive and insignificant in his view, were merely a stepping stone to greater conquests. The raid, however, did not go as planned. Instead of surrendering, the humans fought back with a ferocity that took the Jekker by surprise. Their ships, though outdated and makeshift, proved to be surprisingly resilient. Trixthak's initial disdain for the humans shifted to irritation as their ragtag fleet launched a counteroffensive. The humans, driven by a fierce desire to protect their homes and families, converted their industrial capabilities into a war machine. Factories became shipyards, and mining operations were repurposed to build and arm their vessels. Their resistance was not merely a defense but a statement, a declaration that humanity would not be easily broken. As the Jekker forces prepared for another assault, Trixthak reviewed the data on the human fleet. It was a hodgepodge of mining barges, commercial freighters, and outdated warships, each packed with determined human marines. Trixthak sneered at the sight, dismissing them as an insignificant threat. However, beneath his arrogance, a sliver of concern began to form. The humans' tenacity was a wild card, unpredictable and relentless. Their willingness to sacrifice and adapt made them a formidable opponent. Trixthak had faced many enemies, but none had exhibited such raw, unyielding spirit. The unlikely alliance. Amidst the chaos of battle, a glimmer of hope emerged from the depths of human resilience. Captain Ilara Hayes, a seasoned pilot of the United Earth Defense Fleet, was determined to turn the tide. With her crew of skilled veterans and passionate rookies, she was more than a commander. She was a symbol of human defiance. The humans had been pushed to the brink, but their will to fight remained unshaken. Ilara's ship, the Valkyrie, was a testament to human ingenuity. It had been retrofitted with experimental tech that could rival even the Jekker's most advanced weaponry. Ilara's plan was to strike at the heart of the Jekker's supply lines, cutting off their reinforcements and crippling their war effort. The battle plan required an unlikely alliance. Ilara reached out to the remaining human colonies, desperate for support. In response, a network of resistance fighters, engineers, and diplomats rallied to the cause. They'd brought with them invaluable intelligence and resources, fueling a collaborative effort to strike at the Jekker's Achilles heel. The alliance was not without its challenges. Internal conflicts and mistrust threatened to undermine their efforts. Yet, the shared goal of defeating the Jekker kept the alliance united. They pooled their knowledge, skills, and courage into a coordinated offensive that aimed to hit the Jekker where it hurt the most. As the preparations continued, Ilara's team worked tirelessly to ensure that their attack would be precise and devastating. They planned to target a key Jekker shipyard, a crucial hub for their war machine. By striking there, they hoped to disrupt the Jekker's production and send a clear message that humanity was not to be underestimated. The assault begins. With the plans in place and the alliance ready, the moment of reckoning arrived. The Valkyrie, alongside a fleet of allied ships, emerged from hyperspace and faced the formidable Jekker shipyard. The sheer scale of the facility was awe-inspiring, a sprawling complex dedicated to the production of warships. Trixthak, now fully aware of the human threat, was determined to crush their assault. His orders were clear: defend the shipyard at all costs. The Jekker fleet mobilized, deploying their advanced warships and defensive platforms to repel the human attack. The first volley of missiles and plasma fire from the human fleet lit up the void, tearing through the shipyard's outer defenses. The Jekker retaliated with their own barrage, the space around them becoming a deadly ballet of fire and explosions. Despite the Jekker's technological advantage, the humans pressed on with relentless aggression. Captain Ilara Hayes led the charge, coordinating her pilots and marines with precision. The Valkyrie darted through the chaos, its advanced weapon systems cutting through enemy defenses. Each explosion and victory fueled their determination, pushing them further into the heart of the Jekker's stronghold. As the battle raged, the Jekker struggled to contain the assault. Their once confident demeanor began to crack under the pressure of the human onslaught. The shipyard's power generators took the brunt of the attack, and the facility's operations started to falter, turning the tide. The human fleet pressed their advantage, exploiting the Jekker shipyard's vulnerabilities. Captain Ilara Hayes' tactics were proving effective. The shipyard's power grid was heavily damaged, leading to cascading system failures and disruptions in their production lines. Trixthak, watching from the Gruer, felt a surge of frustration. His initial confidence was eroded by the relentless human assault. The Jekker ships, despite their superior firepower, were struggling to regain control. The human strategy of targeting critical infrastructure was paying off. Desperate to turn the tide, Trixthak ordered a counterattack. The Jekker fleet concentrated their fire on the Valkyrie and its allies, trying to push them back. Yet the humans remained undeterred, their spirit and determination unwavering. The battle was fierce, with both sides suffering heavy losses. In the midst of the chaos, a breakthrough occurred. The Jekker shipyard's central command center was struck, causing a critical disruption in their coordination. The human fleet seized the opportunity, intensifying their assault and dismantling the remaining defenses. The once imposing Jekker shipyard was now a smoldering ruin. The human victory was hard-won, but it was a significant blow to the Jekker Empire. The destruction of the shipyard sent a clear message. Humanity was not only capable of resisting, but also of striking back with devastating force. The aftermath. As the dust settled and the smoke cleared, the human fleet regrouped, surveying the damage they had inflicted. The victory was bittersweet. The cost had been high, but the impact on the Jekker Empire was undeniable. The shipyard, a vital part of their war effort, was reduced to rubble. Captain Ilara Hayes and her crew took a moment to reflect on their achievement. The battle had tested their resolve and pushed them to their limits, but their success had proven that human ingenuity and resilience could overcome even the most formidable opponents. The Jekker Empire had been dealt a significant blow, but the war was far from over. The human alliance began to focus on their next steps. The destruction of the shipyard had created a power vacuum, and there were new opportunities for further strikes against the Jekker. The resistance fighters, engineers, and diplomats continued to work together, their unity a testament to their shared determination. Meanwhile, Trixthak, reeling from the defeat, was determined to regain control. His pride had been wounded, and he vowed to crush the human resistance once and for all. The Jekker Empire's response would be swift and brutal, and the next phase of the conflict would be even more intense, the counteroffensive. The Jekker Empire, stung by their recent defeat, mobilized their forces for a counteroffensive. Trixthak's resolve was unshakable as he prepared to launch a decisive strike against the human resistance. His plan was to crush the remaining human fleet and restore the Jekker's dominance. The humans, aware of the impending counterattack, fortified their positions and prepared for the next phase of the conflict. Captain Ilara Hayes and her allies were determined to hold their ground and continue their fight against the Jekker Empire. Their recent victory had bolstered their confidence, but they knew that the Jekker's response would be formidable. As the Jekker forces approached, the human fleet readied themselves for the battle to come. The atmosphere was tense, and the stakes were higher than ever. The conflict had evolved into a full-scale war, with both sides preparing for a confrontation that would determine the future of the galaxy. The counteroffensive began with a massive assault. The Jekker fleet, led by Trixthak, unleashed a wave of firepower that tested the limits of the human defenses. The battle was intense, with both sides engaging in a brutal exchange of fire and strategy. Captain Elara Hayes and her crew fought with unwavering determination, their previous victories fueling their resolve. The human fleet faced the Jekker onslaught head-on, using their ingenuity and resourcefulness to counter the superior firepower of their enemies. The conflict was marked by dramatic shifts in momentum. The human resistance scored several key victories, but the Jekker forces were relentless in their pursuit. The battle waged on, each side striving to outmaneuver the other in a struggle that seemed to have no end. The final confrontation. The war reached its climax as the final confrontation between the humans and the Jekker Empire approached. Both sides were battered and exhausted, but their resolve remained unshaken. The galaxy stood at the brink of a pivotal moment, with the outcome of the conflict hanging in the balance. The strategic gamble. Captain Elara Hayes knew that the next move would be crucial. The Jekker Empire, despite their recent losses, was still a formidable opponent. Their counteroffensive had pushed the human forces to their limits, but the determination to secure a future free from oppression kept the alliance's morale high. Elara devised a bold plan, one that involved a high-risk, high-reward strategy. She proposed a daring assault on the heart of the Jekker Empire's command structure, a central hub that controlled the entire fleet's operations. The goal was to strike at the core of their military leadership, hoping to disrupt their command and control systems enough to tip the scales in humanity's favor. The plan was risky. It required infiltrating deep into Jekker territory, navigating through heavily fortified defenses, and executing a precise strike with minimal margin for error. The stakes were high, and the potential consequences of failure were dire. Yet Elara's leadership and the Alliance's trust in her strategy galvanized the fleet. The infiltration. Under the cover of darkness, the human fleet embarked on their covert mission. The Valkyrie, equipped with stealth technology and advanced navigation systems, led the way. The crew worked with precision, carefully avoiding detection as they approached the heavily guarded Jekker command hub. As they neared their target, the human forces faced numerous obstacles. The Jekker's defensive measures were sophisticated, including advanced sensor networks and automated turrets. The Valkyrie's crew maneuvered with skill, using every ounce of their training and experience to evade the defenses and make their way to the command center. Tensions were high as the human forces prepared for the final phase of their infiltration. Each step brought them closer to their goal, but the risk of discovery remained ever present. Despite the dangers, the crew's determination and focus were unwavering. The strike. Once inside the command hub, the human forces faced their final challenge, planting explosive charges to disable the Jekker's command infrastructure. The operation required stealth and precision. Elara's team moved with calculated efficiency, placing the charges at strategic points throughout the facility. As they worked, the Jekker's response became increasingly frantic. Alarms blared, and the command hub's defenses activated in an attempt to repel the intruders. The human team fought their way through, using every resource at their disposal to hold their ground and complete their mission. With the charges in place, the team made a hasty retreat. The tension was palpable as they raced against the clock to escape before the explosion. Their timing had to be perfect to ensure the charges would detonate as planned. The aftermath. The explosion rocked the Jekker command hub, sending shockwaves through their command and control networks. The Jekker fleet was thrown into disarray as the central hub's operations were crippled. Communication lines were severed, and coordination among the Jekker forces became chaotic. Captain Elara Hayes and her crew watched from a safe distance as the Jekker's once formidable command structure crumbled. The disruption caused a significant setback for the Empire, providing the humans with a crucial opportunity to press their advantage. The victory was bittersweet. The destruction of the command hub marked a turning point in the war, but the cost of the conflict had been immense. Lives were lost, and both sides bore the scars of battle. Yet the humans' resilience and ingenuity had led them to this moment of triumph, the dawn of a new era. In the wake of the final confrontation, the galaxy began to change. The Jekker Empire, weakened by the loss of their command hub and the relentless human resistance, faced a new reality. The human alliance, though battered, emerged as a beacon of hope and determination. The aftermath of the conflict saw a shift in power dynamics. The Jekker Empire, once a dominant force, found itself struggling to maintain control. The human alliance took the opportunity to rebuild, focusing on diplomacy, reconstruction, and ensuring that the sacrifices made during the war were not in vain. Captain Elara Hayes, now a symbol of human strength and unity, continued to lead the efforts to establish a lasting peace. The lessons learned from the conflict shaped the future of interstellar relations, emphasizing the importance of resilience, cooperation, and the enduring spirit of humanity. As the galaxy looked toward a new era, the legacy of the conflict served as a reminder of the power of determination and the boundless potential of human ingenuity. The Jekker Empire's attempts to conquer humanity had been met with an indomitable spirit, forever altering the course of history.